Detroit is known for its automotive industry, its abandoned buildings, and its rectangular pizzas. But that's not all they've got going on. Let's check out the stadiums and arenas of Detroit, Michigan. Starting off with Little Caesars Arena, which is named after a pizza company. Whilst it does kinda look like a pizza box from above, because of the Little Caesars logo, that is where the similarities end. Few, if any, pizza boxes utilize this much brick and glass throughout their construction. At least not where I'm from. It is actually a very distinctive design. The arena is attached to some surrounding buildings and there's a plastic roof sheltering the concourse in between them. There are lots of shops and some restaurants. So it kinda reminds me of those Shoten guys in Japan. Detroit really is the Japan of Michigan, I've always said that. The actual interior certainly doesn't let this place down. It has a steep multi-tiered seating bowl, a huge center-hung video cube, that seems to be about the same size as the court itself, and some interesting lights up there on the ceiling that remind me a little of the scene in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Very interesting indeed. As you can see, it can be lit up in all different colours. I think they've got the Malaysian flag up there in this shot. Nearby is Comerica Park. This is another example of a Major League ballpark going to town when it comes to the theming. It's home to the Detroit Tigers and there are so many tigers throughout the ballpark. These tigers' eyes light up after a Tigers home run. And you'll also hear a tiger's growl. Another unique feature here is the keyhole, a dirt strip that runs from the pitcher's mound to home plate. Chase Field in Phoenix did have one until they changed to an artificial turf field, but now this is the only MLB ballpark to have one. Not that it really matters, I mean it's just a strip of dirt. What else can I point out? There is a fountain in the outfield which is not quite Kansas City level, but I guess they gotta have somewhere for all those tigers to drink. What it does have over the Royals ballpark is the spectacular view of the city skyline. You can't even see Detroit from Kauffman Stadium. Not even from the nosebleeds. But yeah, this is a great all-round ballpark. The only reason I'd suggest you don't visit is if you have a phobia of man-made tigers, which is, as far as I'm aware, a pretty rare phobia. I thought I'd give a quick shout out to Corner Ballpark, which does have a tiny capacity, but is noteworthy due to the fact that it's situated on the side of the Tigers' former stadium, known as Tiger Stadium. Just across the street from Comerica Park is Ford Field. Yep, Ford is a Detroit company, as you probably know. It's a big part of the city's history and current day economy. You could say that the city couldn't afford to lose it. That's definitely been a newspaper headline at some point. One of the stadium's best features in my view is the fact that it has incorporated part of a pre-existing red brick building into it. The Hudson's Warehouse houses the stadium's premium seating, whilst also giving the stadium a genuine industrial look, befitting of the Motor City. This is one of just a handful of fully enclosed NFL stadiums with a fixed roof, meaning that the Lions never play a home game under the sun or the moon. Having said that, there is still plenty of natural light that flows through during day games, and also I doubt there are many days when the spectators were wishing they were outdoors in the Michigan weather. Even the Tigers next door have to sometimes play in freezing conditions, and they don't even play in winter. Callahan Hall. With its simple stone block exterior, this venue might seem very basic compared to the Little Caesars Arena, and it is, but there is one aspect where it's better: the name. It's named after a former coach of the team rather than a pizza chain. Although I bet there is a Callahan's Pizza out there. Yep, there it is, Callahan's traditional Irish pizza. Callahan's, pizza made the Galway. I guess they just used soda bread for the base. Back in the day, this was actually an elite venue. It even hosted Pistons games for 4 or 5 years. The Detroit Mercy Titans, a college team, have been here since it opened though. You certainly wouldn't call it elite anymore. It hasn't exactly been kept up to date. In particular, that video board. But I think there's still a place for these old school basketball arenas. Tom Adams Field. Surprisingly, this is the largest college football stadium in the Detroit area. The largest of Michigan's universities are in much smaller cities to the west of Detroit. Ann Arbor, Lansing, Kalamazoo. It's always fun to say that. Whilst their stadiums are much bigger and better, there is one thing this place has over them, and that is once again the backdrop. Those sitting in the main stand, the only permanent stand, get a rather nice view of the city skyline. And the field, more importantly. Once again, you can't even see Detroit from any seat at the big house, so, which is better, really. Also, this one has a rainbow above the main stand. I believe this is only a temporary addition. It's brought out on special occasions. Wayne State Fieldhouse. This is the newly built home of Wayne State's basketball team, but also the Pistons G League affiliate, Motor City Cruise. The construction was a joint venture between the two, but it is wholly owned by the university. It is, after all, situated on campus. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's flashy. From outside, it basically just looks like a warehouse or something, as you saw. And there's not much in the way of luxury on the inside. Having said that, it does have all the basic amenities sorted. Decent video boards, American flag, it's got it all. Oh, it was the American flag, not the Malaysian flag. Huntington Place is not really a sports venue, it's just a convention center. But it's known for hosting the world-renowned Detroit Auto Show, which you've probably heard of, so I thought it was worth a mention. Oh, and as you can see, it does sometimes host certain sports. And why not show some RESPECT to the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater, a concert venue which is even closer to the banks of the Detroit River. In fact, the river forms the backdrop to the stage, which is kinda cool, as long as there are no corpses floating downstream. That would just ruin the vibe a little bit. I thought I might as well include Windsor, a small city that is just across the river in Canada. What the heck was that? Windsor Arena is sadly no longer used for hockey. In fact, it's no longer used for any sport. You may have noticed in the title card that the main tenant at this arena at the moment is salt. Yeah, the city uses it as a salt storage facility. So they can salt the roads to stop ice from forming. Which is a little bit ironic given its past. See, we're in Canada because they spelt centre correctly. Centre. St. Denis Athletic Centre. It is home to the Windsor Lancers, who are a college team, or a university team I should say. As you might expect from a university in Windsor, Canada, it's not anything flashy. It's just a typical low-key college, university basketball arena, with retractable seating making up the majority of the capacity. Alumni Field. Okay, this place is absolutely tiny and insignificant. It's even below the capacity cutoff, but I felt obliged to mention it as it's the largest outdoor stadium in the city of Windsor. Most of the people in this small city clearly prefer to partake in indoor sports, provided that their local arena isn't full of salt. It's a decent little stadium though. I like that the running track is in school colours and not same old burgundy. And to be fair, the capacity can be expanded to 10,000 with the use of temporary seating. WFCU Center is probably the most impressive of Windsor's sports venues. You can see in these pics that it's hosting basketball, but of course it hosts ice hockey as well. In fact, it is actually stipulated in Canadian law that every building in the country larger than 300 square meters must be able to host hockey in some capacity. I believe that was one of Trudeau's. Pierre, not Justin. You can really see how the place was designed for hockey first and foremost in this shot here. There isn't any retractable seating, just floor seating around the court. It does the job for both sports though. And that's actually a pretty big octagonal video board for the size of the arena. And those were the stadiums of Detroit and its little Canadian counterpart known as Windsor. As for my favourite, I want to say Comerica Park, but I have to try and put away my bias towards outdoor stadiums and go with Little Caesars. It has some unique characteristics and it looks cool. What else could you want? Thanks for watching, have a good one.